What to do, folks? I hope you're treating yourselves oh so well, and of course others. My name is Claire. This is a channel where we like to do tarot readings. Today, I figured what's going on around you should be helpful. So, what you should be aware of that is going on around you, either cosmically, behind your back, those sort of notions, just what you should be aware of in general. So, let us commence pile 1. Okie dokie. I almost said the hermit. The chariot. But there could be elements of you feeling lonely or unstable as of lately, perhaps due to you feeling glimmers of hope. There's a sense of you are tasting things you haven't in a while, and it's making you feel motivated, but also stints of despair. 4 of Swords. I think that you have a notion that things are working in your favor, but you are wanting to know what ideal path to take in regards to the outcome coming towards you. This is a bit of divine timing at an unrest sort of thing. The 4 of Swords is dignifying a rest period for you, but it almost seems more of a struggle for you to not take on some sort of you always want to be close to everything that you're doing in life, and right now you are having to hold everything at a distance. Maybe you're having to not hope for the outcome to be tragic, but you can't control the current circumstances. You're just hoping that you don't get played or there's no tyranny in the situation. I think there's a person in your life that you are having to trust, but you are at your wit's end with a lot of scenarios in your life. This person that you are worried about, they're in your life, and it's almost like you feel there is a presence of sincerity and warmth to them. This could be in relations of friendship, career, love, platonic, family. Something about you holding a person closely, the Ace of Swords, but in reverse, is making you feel you have to cut the cord soon. I think that you were feeling there's a slumber period that you are learning techniques or patience, a lifestyle conform with a individual, a situation currently that you are allowing in your space. You are preparing to cut it off in the future. It's almost like these 2 cards, the Ace of Swords in reverse, and then the 8 of Wands upright. So you almost know that this period of time is to no avail, and that this person, you're wondering if they have a bad attitude in regards to your situation. I think you're wondering if this person, as sincere as they seem, because their actions dignify that they might be a lesson in your life, more so than any sort of fulfillment. I think that the fulfillment that you feel from your current standings in life are very fleeting. And what's going on around you, the 10 of Swords in reverse, it all feels heavy if you were to pile it on paper. If you were to put your vices, the things that you're having to deal with, I'm hearing a manuscript. So maybe you are doing some some writing as of lately to release tensions that you feel maybe you kind of have in your mind what you would say to a person if you needed to address them in a aggressive way. The Ten of Swords in reverse, what you're dealing with currently is not going to hurt you. It's not going to devise any ill will against you or any superficial planning. I think that it is what it is so that you don't delve too deep or this situation is not supposed to be the bane of your existence, and it's nothing like what you've dealt with in the past, but it is not a period of time where you find ultimate resolve with a person. There's only restlessness to be had with reaching out for forward motion with this current lifestyle you're dealing with. I think some things are about to change drastically and go from, because you got the Ten of Swords in reverse, and then you got the nine of Swords in reverse. So the two worst cards you can get, honestly. One is about definite destruction and seemingly betrayal, because look at all the knives in the back. Like, she didn't put them there herself. These were driven into her. So these things you've dealt with in the past, yes, they are heavy, but with this current situation that you're dealing with, I think everything around you could be very difficult, tumultuous. The closeness that you feel to this situation is pure. It is for standards of some sort in your lifestyle. I think you were motivated through communication. This is on your path, is what I'm trying to say. This is a very roundabout way of saying the Nine of Swords in reverse and the Ten of Swords in reverse lets me know that you're dealing with a lot. Nine of Swords in general is the card of nightmares, things that you would never want to come to fruition, and it's almost like wild that they even did. But it almost seems as though you were living through a state of callous. You don't have to believe the things that are going on around you. It's the disbelief keeps on coming into my mind. So you don't have to agree with your situation, but you don't have to fall for the notion that this is futile. You are moving forward, and I think there's a lot of cosmic tendency to push back on people that are moving forward. You got the Eight of Wands upright. You are on your way, and I think that I don't particularly know what you believe, obviously, but there are forces in this world that are darker, demonic, if some would say. I refrain from saying evil, but they have no intention of yours. And I think that there are pushbacks in ways that you are being ill-advised to want to control the situation. I think that the world is still having its way forward. The Eight of Wands is always a card of just keep it moving, because if there's the slightest slip up, it almost feels like, in my mind, I'm seeing a bike go forward and then hit a rock, and the person just kind of topples forward over their bike. So it's almost like you need to stay in succinct motion. You have to be the dance right now. You have to keep your intuition so sharp, because nothing can touch you in a way of pain. I don't think anything can actually get to you at this point right now. As the person that you are, on the path that you are on, no one can hurt you in a way that you're dealing with. If you are dealing with people that are against you and people that are seemingly around you that you can't tell if they're for you or not, this is a commemoration of the past being cauterized. I think you're being thrown through the fire, through, a hyperdrive, tunnel vision sort of situation. You're going so fast, so far, that you need this endurance. You need to be able to fight and still move forward. You need to be able to keep your intuition intact right now, I think for many reasons, but your alertness towards people is key. I don't think that anyone that you have around you currently can weigh you down as long as you are aware of the situations that you put yourself in. You might have to deal with certain things that seem a little bit more spiny than you would enjoy. Like you might be going through life circumstances that are a little heavier than you choose to put on yourself. With the Six of Cups, there is admiration, there's forward motion coming in for you, and I think it's just the test of time, the wear and tear of the waves are crashing over you. You are being disjointed from your past in a lot of ways mentally, that a lot of the ways that you were in the past, I think you are slowly just letting them wash through you. And the better decisions, the calmer demeanor, the more developed decisions that you make, the more life gives you opportunities to make more profound decisions. It's almost like you're on a stepping stones of the more you stand up for yourself, but the more lighthearted you feel towards a fight. It's almost like you are in fight mode right now, but the more that you separate yourself from the battle and actually just take on the warrior that has to prevail inside of you, you know that you have to fight even if you don't want to, but there is an art to battle. And I think that that's what you're figuring out right now. And with that, you gotta know I love you. Greetings, Pile 2. I have the strongest urge to go, what's up? Hello, Pile 2. This is what's going on around you. This could be what other people are doing around you, what the world has in store for you, but what's going on, Pile 2? Oh. The Hermit. Okay, I wanted to say the Hermit in the last pile, but here he is. We have evoked the Hermit. Okay, it's a moose. I really like that. I really would love to see a moose. I've never seen them. They seem gargantuan. Amazing. You could be a very loud person in some way, form, or fashion. Loud laugh, cough, voice. Some people really enjoy your voice for some reason. Maybe people come to you to hear you sing, speak, something like that. People really enjoy that. You have a strong sense of justice. I think people see that you aren't going to go down the left-hand path. You won't choose an evil path. I think that you will allow, there is like a angel and a devil on your shoulder from maybe the past places you have been, the people you have been. You've evolved in a lot of ways, and there's karmic justice through you. I think that a lot of people have tempted fate with you. It's almost like you are a sense of the scales, the ties that bind. How people treat you is a direct reflection of how life is prosperous for them from that point forward. I don't think you have a closeness to anyone right now. So it's either you be held at a distance or you've completely cut ties with many people, and they have seen how that has directly affected how they have treated you, has resulted in their lives in many ways, physically, emotionally, karmically. Because I see the Hermit is the 9, which is the 1 and then the X, and then the Justice is 11, which is the X and the 1. So they are mirror images of each other, if you would. So how you have stabilized yourself is presenting a real notion of success for the future. I think that you dignify a lot of people's outlook. For some reason, you bring a lot of hope to people. You bring a lot of, wow, you got the hermit, and then the justice, and then the sun. Okay. You've only got major cards so far, and they're only progressing more outwardly. It's almost like you're becoming more visible with time, and through that time, you are able to persevere more fluidly. You are working in the shadows right now in ways that you're alchemizing a lot of disdain, a lot of discomfort, and I think maybe even you're having to deal with the uncertainty of where your money is coming from. You're maybe unsatisfied with life in a lot of ways, but you are building nonetheless in the small ways that you can. I think that you're taking the ability to control the small things that you can. You have a lot of routines. You're willing to give people help. You're putting yourself out there in the small ways, and people have a sense of disdain for that. You have a lot of love coming towards you, but the people of the past are watching. So untouchable you are, but on display very much. I think that life has allowed you to shield yourself in certain ways that will become more visible in the near future. I think that the things that you're reaching for will become more obvious, and the aimlessness of your everyday life will kind of fade into the background. The Six of Swords, you are wanting to figure out, there's a lot of things for you to figure out in life right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. Maybe you don't have a friend group that's sturdy. You don't have a lifestyle that you enjoy. Maybe there's a lack of jobs or companionship. There's something about your life, if you were to put it on paper, is very remorseful or a lot of hurt, heaviness, but you don't feel that, and you don't wear that on you. It's almost you have invincibility, a superpower towards the ability to separate yourself from all the trials that you are dealing with, a superhuman strength to engage with pushing forward. You might have a few opportunities at your wake that are Three of Cups, Five of Pentacles in reverse. I would allow the obviousness of the discomfort that you're feeling towards certain people be known. In the near future, I think it will become obvious where your paths lie, how to move forward, and where to cut the ties. There's a lot of severance that is necessary with the Six of Swords. Is about walking away. And this person is clearly on a boat by themselves, where the Six of Swords sometimes shows other people. This person is on their own. So maybe a lot of things that you've been dealing with as of lately are not coming with you. The load that you carry is very light, and that has a bit of a sting because you want friends, but I don't think that the taste that you've had of friendship has made it so that you long for it. You've never had something so good that you long for it at this point. I think you're just kind of moving forward in hopes that the avail will be the avail will be something that you finally enjoy. It's like something will finally taste good to you. And you could have had a lot of issues with dieting or stomach upsets. There's just a sense of you're putting in the work. You've dealt with a lot of stress and how to relieve that as of lately. I think that the people that have tried to work you up in certain ways, if you have people that do not want to see you succeed, they are being obviously defeated. If not, life shows you that there is an end in sight, maybe with cues or available knowledge that you can just see. You're like, okay, I see where this ends, and I understand where this is going, what can become of this, how much I can get out of it. Because there is a lot of stepping stone action for you right now, and the people that are on the other side will actually support you. There is a support system for you in the future. I think that that's severely lacking right now. The Six of Wands in reverse. Yeah, with a lot of the current situation that you're dealing with, there is no success. I think that you might have thought for a period of time that it was buildable, malleable, but this is one of those situations where if it didn't instantly click, you're okay with a slow burn, and you understand the merit that slow burns intensify over time. They become more potent over time. But I think that you have seen the pitfalls where things end. And I think the identifying of how to end them, you figuring out how to address the ending of certain things, it's all coming for you. You being able to stand up for yourself without adding emotion to it for some reason. I think that there's a strong need for you to be able to back up your points, thoughts, your stance without any emotional regard or fogginess to be shown to others or yourself, because to put emotion first will set you back in certain ways right now. There is an emotional, the Three of Cups, there is an emotional fulfillment for you in the future. But look at this card. The Six of Wands is about success, and it was in reverse even. So it just seems like you kind of have a fire underneath you right now. You're kind of simmering, you're boiling. You're being put through the gauntlet so that you kind of do have a severity, so that maybe you do have a sense of short fuse towards certain things. Because I think that you're teaching people in a lot of ways. How people treat you, like we said, you're that mirror, and how people treat you as of right now is very substantial for the future, because for no reason at all, almost to you, because it could have some sort of things to do with you, but there is building blocks, and it has a lot to do with you being as you can be forward towards every possibility, every opportunity, every person that you can. You have to be yourself. You have to be forthcoming, forthright, honest, these sort of things. And if a person treats you poorly through that, they will get theirs. You don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to even think about it, because it's not going to be in your repertoire to suffer fools. You no longer suffer fools. You just deal with the things that are dealt with to you. And as of lately, it could be some fuck shit, but it is coming to. There's a climax to be had, and I think that you are going to feel better over time. It's almost like these things will reveal themselves to you in slight timing where you don't have to make decisions. It'll just be justice, and it will be yours. Okay. You gotta know I love you. Pile three. Hello. Lovely of you to join us. This is what you should be aware of that is going on around you. So with that, let us get it. Okay. Pile three of pentacles, tirelessly working on the betterment of your health or happiness and other people's around you. You could be a teacher or service worker, something about you care to improve other people's lives. So you could work in many fields, or just that could be a hobby. Maybe you just really enjoy people. You're not a bad person, though. You are building in a sense of the King of Pentacles. I think you want to provide for a family. There's something about you really working to build yourself some sort of substance. And then the Devil kicks in. This card is so ominous. It has a real strong feel with, I think there's something that keeps on dragging you back in your life. Maybe you're feeling as though you have a physical outlet with someone. Maybe you have a really strong connection platonically. It seems like a situationship that you might be in, or something about you have relations with a person, but it's at a staggering distance. Maybe you are long distant relationships. There's something hard to trust about the situation, and though you try, you feel the end is nigh. And that rhymes, so you gotta know it's real. Because the Death card is rearing its head. I think you feel a certain unsettling nature of a person that you have committed yourself too lightly, or maybe you're in a relationship with them. This could just be you're allowing this person into your life and you guys are hooking up randomly, or something about it could be buildable, but at what price? It's the Ace of Swords, and it's in reverse, and it makes me think that you would have to hold, like, look at this crow. The way that it looks like it's being stabbed. So there's a sense that you might be kind of taking yourself out of a situation mentally to allow it forward. Something is uncomfortable for you, but you're continuing to deal with it because it brings you some sort of joy or upheaval. You're moving forward in a lot of ways. The Eight of Wands, it was upright, but these Eight of Wands, they're not moving. And the Eight of Wands is a iconic card of, it's a notable card of forward motion. So you think that you were moving forward, or someone in the situation thinks that there is building, but it's a fallacy. Maybe everyone around thinks that they are building on a lifestyle around this, or the lifestyle that you are taking on right now is on faulty ground. There is fault to be had, I'm hearing, and I'm also hearing a fault line. So it seems as maybe there have been ill intentions involved in this, maybe a hasty actions. There's a bit of a tinge of a bad taste towards the situation, and maybe for good reason. The fault line comment makes me think of you're dealing with disturbances on a daily basis and wondering why, and when will it finally give out? Is this going to take me down with it? That sort of thing. I think you're wondering, if you were to put an end to this situation, would it take me down? I think you're wondering if a person, place, or thing would find enough malice or vindication through ill action. You're wondering if the situation will crumble if you stay in it, if you leave it. The whole situation seems as though it could topple. And it's the King of Swords in reverse. You're holding it at a distance mentally, even though you have to hold it close. It's in your physical space. You have to trust it in a physical form enough to be around it, which is something that's kind of unnatural to you. I think that you tend to shy away from situations that make you feel unsturdy. And alas, you have found yourself in a situation that is more precarious than the next. Maybe you are deeply unsatisfied in certain ways, but you can't find the respite. You cannot find the time to rest. This was the Four of Swords, and it was in reverse, but I love the stained glass in this. And this card notoriously looks like the person is dead, but they are not. So maybe you are feeling like you are on an end goal. The things that you're dealing with in life right now are your end goal. Like you're dealing with all the things that you are prepared to deal with. And that's just not what this situation is going to be. The Knight of Swords in reverse. A lot of moves that you make. It's almost like the closer you try to get to situations right now, person, place, or thing, in a lot of ways, a lot of things that you're reaching for, they are evading you. It's almost like you're reaching for them, they escape you, you're causing ripples in the water, so they drift farther away from you. There's this whole situation of you can't attain any sort of solidarity in the situation because there's a part of you that doesn't find it totally to be pleasing. I think that you're amorous in certain ways, but the thing that you are worried about currently is on par with a lot of things that you're having to worry about. You have a lot of things that you have to facilitate in your life right now, and they're all just as important, but this is almost like you have burdened yourself with certain things that have made this situation so much harder than they needed to be. You could have been yes, you are going through difficulty, but the headspace that has been permitted through your actions, I think, is a little heavier than one would find necessary. You don't need to be going through a lot of the dismantling of your everyday lifestyle. I think that you might be bickering, fighting. There's certain things where because this was the 10 of Wands, and if I remember correctly, I think it was in reverse. It's almost like I think you've picked up some burdens from the past and reanimated them, like you almost breathed life into them again because you thought that was the direction, but it was a haze, a fog that led you towards the past. You thought you were moving forward, but alas, you were turned around the whole time. It's almost like you unwillingly chose to burden yourself. And it feels like it's a necessary part of your life at this point because you've strongly attached yourself to it. And the 8 of Swords is such an ugly card. I hate this card in this deck, and hate's such a strong word, but it's just so ugly. I just find it unpleasing to the eyeballs, and you've found a lot of displeasure in the same places that you were looking for pleasure. There is a nervousness and anxiety that has been deepened through a familiarity, through a bond. I think that you were toughing it out with a person, place, or thing because you've dealt with it for so long. It seems like it is on your path. And then we've got the Page of Coins. Things of the lighter nature are your friend. As of right now, I think that the more you can relieve yourself of the wonky abnormalities you have placed upon your life, if you can go back to your, I'm hearing like primal or primitive nature. There's a thing about maybe you need to go back to nature and just chill out. Maybe you need to find a silence, a way to unwind, a way to find your center again and be able to figure out some alone time. I think that you need to figure out how to spend time alone, how to be alone for some reason. Let's see what that means. Maybe you are just dealing with a lot of people around you and it's hard for you to be alone, like physically, because you are constantly surrounded by people, and that's something you crave, is silence and the dignity of your own space. This is the Hierophant, and it was in reverse. So no, not the Hierophant, it's the High Priestess. Gosh. So the High Priestess is almost like, yeah, your mind is a little scattered right now, and it needs to find a simpler state. Maybe you were wanting to go back to a simpler time, simplify your life in certain ways. I think that would be beneficial if you can cut ties with certain things that are making you are amplifying turbulence, and your life could be a lot more simple if you were going towards things that are naturally in your arena. It's almost like you're trying to attain things that are unnatural to what you want, what you are trying to do in life. You're reaching for something just because you've been on a path for so long, but you need to divert from this path somehow. Allow yourself some time to figure out how to get in your mental space. There's something about finding yourself again so that you can find the words to move forward, the strength to move forward. The King of Cups, the strength to love again. I think that maybe there's a callousness to your lifestyle and you're kind of just going through the motions because there's nothing else. You've never felt super happy and you don't want to feel super sad, so you're kind of just going through the motions with what you have. And it makes me think that there's a lot that you want to say in regards to an actual lifestyle. You're holding back a lot of things. There's a lot of secrets in your everyday life. There's a dismantling that needs to happen because there's an obvious discrepancy in your life. There are secrets, there's dismay, it's wonky. Things are off. And I think that you need to convey that to certain people. If you need to reach out to others to get some mental advice, the King of Cups is someone who thrives through emotional centering, upheaval, someone who knows how to communicate and gets a lot from it. I think that there's a love standard that's coming for you with family, friends, commitment, life, love. It's all coming towards you in a way that if you can take yourself out of the sludge that you've been dealing with and somehow slowly walk yourself back a little bit to where you're back to a good headspace, asking for help, telling people where you're really at, telling people what you really want, certain things like that. If you can relieve yourself of the burden of the lies or just the mental anguish that you're feeling, I think that there's just a truth to be told in a lot of ways, and it will set you free. A conversation a relieving of emotions. There's something about you just laying it all out on the line for multiple people, for many people in general. Just you being more forthright and honest about yourself and where you want to go and the things that you want to do. Okay, with that, you gotta know I love you.